Hello, and welcome to a quick overview of the customer impacts of utility rates. In short, customer impact is the financial burden that utility rates place on your ratepayers. The long answer consists of a variety of calculations that consider household income, other household expenses, and the percentage of household income that goes towards water bills. Generally, a household should not pay more than 2.5% of income on drinking water and no more than 2% of income on wastewater services. These thresholds were developed based on interpretation of the Environmental Protection Agency's Guidance of Affordability for the Safe Drinking Water Act. Although EPA does not officially establish these thresholds, they are commonly used to understand and assess the affordability of utility rates. The impact that utility rates have on community members vary depending on the challenges that households face. We can use numbers to understand the financial burden. However, realizing that each community member experiences burdens differently based on the unique situations is also important. Understanding how utility rates potentially burden the households with the lowest incomes in your community can help to develop rate structures that will provide reliable and sufficient revenue while ensuring that households can pay their bills. If households are unable to pay their bills, not only do they experience an interruption of service, but the utility faces a loss of revenue. Understanding and empathizing with households who struggle financially and either adjusting rate structures and/or establishing bill assistance programs can help reduce delinquency rates to ensure that the utility is giving the revenue needed for daily operations as well as for reserve accounts and capital improvement plan projects. Additionally, being aware of challenges and taking steps to avoid or help with those challenges can make ratepayers feel like they're part of the community, ensure that they feel heard and understood, and can result in support for rate changes and funding needed for utility improvements. It is also important to consider and understand the impact of water rates on the utility. Our water and wastewater utilities have minimum standards that they must meet to be in regulatory compliance. However, many utilities strive to provide service that exceeds minimum standards. For example, aesthetic problems with drinking water, such as an off color or taste, can be acceptable if all contaminant levels are within regulation, but most of us have clear, tasty water coming out of the faucet. To maintain minimum standards and determine level of service, utilities require sustainable, reliable funding for day-to-day operations, as well as supporting reserve funds and planning for upgrades, major repairs, and replacements. Municipalities and utilities are often juggling the different needs of the community and the utility, along with the capacity of each. There is a balance to find and maintain between customer financial capacity and needs and the needs of the utility to continue to provide clean, safe, reliable drinking water. To understand the financial capacity of households with low income, there are several metrics that can help. As you research and find ways to evaluate the possible burden that households experience due to rates, you will come across several metrics that use different formulas based off census data information and utility rates. There are some common metrics that you may see or hear referenced in affordability research, tools, webinars, and other conversations on this topic. The residential indicator, or sometimes referred to as the RI, or traditional metric, takes the average utility bill for the community and divides it by the median household income for your community to provide an overall snapshot of how utility rates impact your community as a whole. The poverty prevalence indicator considers how prevalent poverty is within your community. It can inform you of how widespread poverty is in your community. When compared with other metrics, it can indicate the potential burden that utility rates may have on members of the community with the lowest incomes. The household burden, or sometimes just referred to as burden, examines how much of the income the households with the lowest income are using to pay their water and wastewater bills. In contrast to the residential indicator, this metric considers the impact on a household level rather than a community-wide level. Other metrics that you may see are the affordability ratio, which considers the cost of water and wastewater bills along with other household expenses. And hours at minimum wage is another way to consider the burden that households with low income may bear. You can learn more about these metrics through research and in using various affordability assessment tools. Utilities may have options that can improve revenue stability without burdening the households with the lowest incomes. Evaluating current rates and rate structures can ensure that rates are appropriate for the community and sufficient for operations. Customer assistance programs can help those who have minimal financial capacity to continue to pay their utility bills. And evaluating your existing budget to ensure that funds are used efficiently and effectively can help with ensuring optimal operations revenue while contributing to reserve accounts. There are 3 user-friendly, free online tools available for evaluating your community's rates. The Southwest Environmental Finance Center at the University of New Mexico developed the Water Affordability Self-Assessment Tool, or WASA. You can use this tool to assess whether your rates are affordable according to several different measures, including median household income, percentage of population at or below poverty level, and the number of hours at minimum wage needed to pay the average bill. You can also use it to do an analysis of which of your customers would be most affected by changes in your rate structure. The Environmental Finance Center at the University of North Carolina developed an affordability assessment tool. Their dashboard provides insights into affordability and utility rate burden in your community. The tool can provide graphs and charts to allow you to assess your community's metrics and potential affordability concerns. The Environmental Finance Center at Wichita State University developed the Community Sustainability Tool. While this tool does not measure affordability, it can be used to determine if your current rates can support future investment in infrastructure financing. This can be used in the affordability conversations with your community as a way to begin to understand your community's financial capacity. Currently, the Environmental Finance Center's Community Sustainability Tool is available online for Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, and Missouri, and there is a downloadable Excel tool that will do the same thing for Louisiana and Oklahoma. There is a plethora of resources available for understanding and addressing affordability issues. Here are a few that might be especially helpful. The Environmental Finance Center Network, which is a network of all the environmental finance centers, often work together on national projects to help communities address utility issues. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency provides research, reports, and guidance on a variety of topics regarding drinking water. The American Water Works Association has resources available for a variety of topics, and additionally, each state has their own section of AWWA, so check for your state section to see what kind of resources might be available. The Nicholas Institute at Duke University does a variety of affordability research and analysis projects. Their affordability dashboards can be helpful to communities. The National Association of Clean Water Agencies and the Association of Metropolitan Water Agencies offers resources for operating, managing, and financing water utilities. And Dr. Manny Teodoro from the University of Wisconsin focuses his research on the challenges that communities face regarding utility financing and management. Links to all of those resources and more can be found at www.wichita.edu/affordability-resources. Thank you for following along. For more information or questions, please feel free to reach out anytime.